So, as I said, I'm based at a Folksam Insurance Group, and we have conducted the consumer testing since 2012. Yes, Folksam is a mutual company. It means that we are owned by our customers, and we are one of the biggest insurance companies in Sweden. We roughly have 50% of family homes and 50% of all persons in Sweden. And we do have a vision that our customers should feel secure in a sustainable world, and that runs through what we are, everything that we are working with. And we therefore have a research department, and it's focused on road traffic safety and sport injuries. And the aim is to reduce injuries and fatalities. And another aim is to influence consumer, the industry, and authorities, and try to let them focus on the right issues from our perspective. So we started to do a helmet test, and that was more or less because a concussion in an accident is quite common. And we wanted to inform and guide our customers to buy a safe helmet, and also to encourage helmet manufacturers and influence certification tests. So, as I said, we have conducted many tests, and perhaps it's more easy to look at this slide. We started with bicycle helmets for adults, and we have conducted in total 5. And we also have been looking into helmets for children, equestrian and ski helmets. So, and when we started 10 years ago, it was roughly when we had a discussion with, for example, Peter Aldin, that it was going to be included in the certification test in the near future. But as we heard, it's still quite a big work before that will be included. So I think in the near future we will keep on doing helmet tests. So just look into the background. When we looked into the current helmet standard, we could see that it was focused on skull fracture, and the threshold of 250 G correspond to 4% risk of a skull fracture. And as I said, many of our customers that are involved in a crash, they got concussions, and we could see that the brain was more sensitive to angular acceleration, and also that this was the most common impact type. So then we started to look at to develop an improved test method, including oblique impacts, to evaluate helmets sold on the European market. And from the beginning, we were using more or less the one that they are using in Australia, with a sliding surface, and also doing some oblique impact testing at Outlib, the company that produce seatbelt and airbags for the car industry. But now we are using more or less the one that is under discussion in the working group 11. But we also do include some, oh, sorry for that. We also include some shock absorption test, looking at 2 different impact locations, and then we're doing 3 different oblique impacts, and we repeat these for these 3 for 2 different helmets. And we are actually using a FME model. So here you can see this is the KTH model. And if it turns red, it means that there is 50% risk of a concussion. And that's something that we think is very important when we are trying to communicate with our customers why they should be using a helmet with a low risk rather than a helmet with a high risk. But when we so this slide just shows the helmet in oblique impacts, and then we can see that quite a few. This is based on question helmets conducted 2018, and we can see that is very few that are under the threshold of 50% of risk of concussion. And if we also look into the shock absorption, we can see that all, of course, are under the threshold 250 G. But if we go a bit further down to 200, that we think is more reason, since it's 10% risk of a skull fracture. We can see that quite a high number actually produce higher than that. So when we are looking into and highlighting the best helmets, we are trying to look at that they should be better than the median helmet in both shock absorption and also oblique impacts. And then we are communicating with not star rating, but we got a from 1 to 4, and for the ones that are performing best, we put it in a label. So in this case, we got the one to the left that is the best in the test, and then we do have some that we recommend the customers to buy. And as we have already been talking about, the price is not an indicator that it is a safe helmet. In this case, the one that was best was one of the cheapest one. And as you can see, as we said before, equestrian helmets are quite expensive. So in this case, we have two that is of roughly 600 euros, and they perform like the median or worse than the median. So this is also something that we think is important to include different helmets with different price, and also showing that the price is not an indicator for a safe helmet. So just to the conclusions, helmet that meet the current standard does not necessarily prevent a cyclist, skier, or rider from getting a concussion. And we can see in our test that a helmet is equipped with a system aiming to reduce rotational loading performs better than others, but it's not a guarantee that it is a safe helmet, because some of these are actually performing worse than the median helmet in the test. And we think that the helmet should be designed to reduce both linear acceleration as well as rotational, and therefore we include both shock absorption and rotational testing. And we think that consumer testing play an important role. We can see that get quite a good in media to spread the news about which helmet that is the best one, and this actually inform and guide the customers to choose a better helmet. And we also think that it encourage helmet manufacturers to rise the game and bring better helmets on the market. And this is something that we can see, because when we started 2012, it was one fitted with the MIP system, and when we are selecting helmets for the next coming year, it is more or less all of the helmets that are fitted with some rotational energy absorption system. So thank you for your attention, and I will be happy to answer some questions, and I'm looking forward to the discussion later on.